Hi ladies, Dionysia here, and I wanted to take some time out with you today to share some thoughts I had in the past week as I've been speaking with friends and connecting with lots of other people around the current state of affairs in our world, especially in regards to how many of us have big feelings around the US elections and the outcome of that. And I wanted to share a few thoughts that I'm having specifically around who we are and how we digest this turn of events, how we process it, and how we are going to move forward. Because that's the major question that I keep hearing from other people that I'm talking to is, well, what do we do now? So from my perspective, what we do now is we gather together, we shore each other up, and we turn towards our spiritual resources. I think it's been evident for quite some time now in our world that the systems that are and have been for quite a long time, hundreds, thousands of years in place, are systems that are outdated that no longer work. They don't serve. They only serve the few rather than the many. And we are so many more now on the planet than we were even when those systems got created, right? So as systems fall, and we could look at this throughout history from the fall of other cultures or civilizations, as those systems fall, they crumble, they fall apart. The people who most benefit from them make power grabs to keep it all in place. And I think that's what we're seeing in our world today. And the people who are not benefiting from them as greatly and who can see the problems in them and the holes in them and the ways that it makes life difficult for so many more people than just that select few tend to be the ones who bring, the answer to the problem, the creation of the new system, the creation of the new world, if you will. A new way of living, a new way of being altogether. And I feel that we as women hold so much of that right now. You know, if you look at the trajectory of self-help seminars and workshops and spiritual growth seminars and workshops over, say, the past 3-4 decades, as that's been a growing revolution and industry. Sure, it is an industry, but not industry in the same way that the mega patriarchal capitalistic systems are, but more an industry that is a mutual benefit kind of industry, right? Whoever is receiving teachings from the side of that for their own growth, they're benefiting, and the teacher who's teaching, who gets an exchange for it, is also benefiting. So a different kind of industry, and an example, I think, of the kind of industry that we're all going to be moving towards, that more win-win kind of beneficial industry. But what I wanted to say about the self-growth and personal growth and spiritual growth industry is that we can see, many of you, I'm sure, have been attending these kinds of things for years, that easily 75 to 80% of the people there are women. So what does that mean? I think for a long time, a lot of us have felt like, well, that means that we're all wondering, where are the men? It means, when are the men going to get here? It means, when do we start meeting men who are really taking this on as well? But I think there's a different meaning for us to apply to that. I think the meaning that we can apply to it is that we have been preparing ourselves for these times. We as women en masse have been increasing our emotional intelligence, increasing our self-awareness, increasing our ability for effective communication, increasing our knowledge about conflict resolution, about communicating at a heart level, about being able to reach somebody who thinks differently than we do. So we as women, as a collective, we have been doing this work for a really long time now. And that means that we've got mad skills, ladies. Come on, we have been developing the ways to deal with this that's happening right now for a long time. It also means that for men who want to be a part of that, we're their leaders. for people en masse who are going to be waking up spiritually continuously over the next several years. We are their leaders. So when we're feeling things like fear and defeatism and depression and anxiety, and for good reason, right? As we look around the world right now, it can be really, really difficult to feel like a leader or identify ourselves as one. But there are all kinds of ways to lead. And I think oftentimes we as women, we lead by our example, which is huge. It's really important. So this, from my perspective, is how we're going to get through. This is what we do now. This is, what do we do with this? We sort of pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. We find the others who are in the village with us, who are on the same boat with us, and we go. And we go intentionally and consciously and conscientiously. And sometimes we need to pause in that go and gather our spiritual resource, gather some sustenance, gather some nurturance. So as I shared with you last week, this was a big part of the conversation that was happening in the gathering of priestesses on Crete. By the way, it is not an accident that the priestesses of the goddess have gathered on Crete 120 at a time for 2 of the past 3 years. That is a prophecy. It is a prophecy that when the priestesses return, it means the worlds are in changing times and shifting towards more peaceful time. So when we're talking about shifting eons of time, we're talking about big movements of energy. This is not going to happen fast. It's been happening. It's going to continue to be happening. We're at a very crucial point in it. And we have a lot of need to really hold ourselves strong and fortify ourselves with each other as we go forward in this. But this is a sign. This is a sign of times that are coming. And as we're in these big changing times, we need to, again, gather and fortify ourselves. And to that end, I'm offering a free webinar this Sunday, November 17th, for us to gather. So this is a safe space for women to come. We're going to have some time to feel and emote whatever feelings are present in the field of who's gathered there around what's happening, around the elections. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about politics because I don't think that's really our realm for most of us. I think that is the system that is actually about to run itself into the ground, but we'll talk more about that then. But more, this webinar is for us to do exactly what I've been talking about in this video. Let's come together. Let's share. Let's fortify each other. Let's find our spiritual light and hold it together. This is a lot of what we were talking about in Priestess Convocation this year. This is what priestesses all over the planet are doing in their communities. It's what they're talking about. It's what we're strengthening each other for, that we can come back out into our communities and share and talk more about that and offer these reserves of practices and teachings and knowings that are getting stronger and stronger and stronger in us. So that's what this webinar is going to be about on Sunday. I'd love to have you there. Like I said, we're going to have some time for emoting and sharing about, okay, where are you right now? And what fears are present? What, disappointment, dismay, depression is present? But we're also going to move from that to, okay, what do we do now? How do we be with this? What's in front of us to be done? And how are we going to do that? I have a lot to share with you that way about the kinds of discussions that we were having in the Priestess Convocation itself, and also in what's been lighting up in me as I've been contemplating this topic and wanting to offer those teachings to you. So yeah, again, it's a free webinar. I hope you'll come. I'd love to have you there with us. And it's going to be a really, really sweet space, a sweet, safe woman space for us to come together in and really, hold each other, strengthen each other, fortify each other, and look together at how do we move ahead? Where do we go from here? By the way, if you enjoy the content that you're receiving through me, please go click the subscribe button on my channel. Spreading the word, getting this information out to other people who would appreciate it is a way that you can be in service to help other people. And it also really helps me to be able to continue to bring you free content like this. So again, if you enjoy this content, I hope you'll click that subscribe button, help me out. And I send you such big love from my heart to yours, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Blessed be.